it's Kate, and it has been a while. For the five of you that, are heavily invested in this, I just wanted to give a quick life update as to what's been going on in my life and what's been taking my attention, because I haven't podcasted at all, not in the least. But end of April, I got sick, and I just had a little fever, cold thing. I was sick for a few days, and then I got better for a few days, and then I got sick for a few days again, and then I got better again for a few days, and then I got sick again, and I never got better. I just had a continual, consistent fever for all of May, just about all of June. With the fever came a lot of aches and pains, and this fever would go sky high. Headaches, fatigue, and so it just was, I couldn't live without Tylenol or ibuprofen. I was on those around the clock. It was often that I'd be sleeping, and in the middle of the night, I'd be woken up with, just because I was shaking. I was so cold. And I couldn't get out of bed because I was just so cold. I'd lay in there for probably another hour or so till I could will myself to finally get out of bed, check my temperature, and get some meds in me. And usually my temperature was at like 103, 104. So it was just it was a ridiculous way to live. I went to the doctor numerous times. Initially, we thought maybe it was Lyme's disease. And so I was on antibiotics for 2 weeks to treat that. It did nothing. My fevers continued. And then we saw that my inflammatory numbers were a little bit elevated. So we did a week of steroids, and that helped the fever a little bit. But then once the steroids were done, my fever came right back. And so we were really trying to figure out what it was, and thought it was autoimmune something, or like I said, Lyme's or whatever. I did go to the ER at one point because I was just so sick on a weekend. And they did a ton of tests as well. And they did a ton of scans. They scanned my brain, scanned my lungs, did a ton of blood work, and they couldn't find anything either. And the doctor said, the best I can do for you is refer you to infectious disease. And so I took that referral and made an appointment for end of June, because that's what was next available. But they just kept saying I had a fever of unknown origin, and kind of shoulder shrugged and threw their hands up and were like, we don't know what to do with you. We don't know what's wrong with you, but sorry, kind of like sucks to suck. So I finally went to infectious disease on June 19th. And she talked with me for about 45 minutes and then sent me down to the lab, and they did a ton of blood work. And she called me the very next day. I missed her call because I was at work and I was on the floor. The hospital called again shortly after, and then my boyfriend called me. Again, I was on the floor the whole time, and so I couldn't take any of these calls, and I finally snuck him back and at least checked my phone really quickly. And my boyfriend had texted me and said, your doctor just called me. You need to get in to the hospital. They want to admit you. And so I finally was able to check my voicemails and get a hold of the doctor again. And she said, your blood is heavily infected. You need to get in here, and we need to admit you and start you on antibiotics. So the test that she did was a blood culture, and that was not something that any of the other doctors had done previous to this. So now I know to ask for that. But in that blood culture, she saw that my blood just had a ton of strep growing in it and infecting my entire body. So got to the hospital, got admitted, and they figured I'd be there for 5 days while they do all these antibiotics. They'll send me home with antibiotics, and that should be good. But they needed to just check the heart to make sure that it hadn't gotten damaged from all the strep in my blood. And so that was the next day. They did, it's called a TEE test, and they snaked a camera down my throat. It hurt so bad. And checked on the heart. And they did see that my aortic valve was heavily damaged from this strep infection. So when I came to and woke up, they had to let me know that I needed open heart surgery. And they were going to transfer me to a hospital in Milwaukee for that to be done. So called work, called my boyfriend, called my family, called everyone, and let them know I need to have open heart surgery, and this is where it stands. And so I got sent to Milwaukee once a room opened up. And then a few days later, I had open heart surgery. I had a stroke in between when I got in the hospital, when I actually had surgery too. And so, and that was something that would have continued to happen if I hadn't had the surgery, because the aortic valve had all this kind of infected growth on it, and these pieces were just chunking off and flying God knows where in my body, in my brain at least, where the one stroke was. And so, yeah, I lost the use of my left leg. I think it was from the stroke. A few of the doctors were like, no, that probably wouldn't do it. And some of the other doctors were like, yeah, no, that probably was the stroke. And so I'm inclined to believe it was a stroke. I just couldn't will my left leg to do anything I needed it to do. And so had open heart surgery, was in the ICU for a day, was, moved to a room upstairs for a few days after that and got home. And so the June 26th was a surgery. So I'm almost at 2 weeks from when I had the surgery. I'm doing really well. I'm able to manage everything with Tylenol if need be, but I really don't need that often, which is great. I'm just taking everything slow. I can do a few tasks at a time and then I need to go lay down. I can't lift anything. I can't really do any house chores because I can't lift anything. And so I kind of just am hanging out. And it's a weird way to exist in a world where I have always done 101 things at once, but it's good. It's a good healing season. There were so many things that happened in the hospital and so many sweet things, and ways that I was blessed that I'll get into it another time. But I just wanted to say thank you all for the prayers. And I've got a freezer full of food from girlfriends of mine. I had girlfriends come and clean the house for me. My neighbor just came with his crew and mowed my lawn. I've been so well taken care of by my family and my friends, and I'm so incredibly blessed. So many gifts and financial contributions so I can stay home and rest for the next 3 months. It just has been overwhelming, and so, so kind. And I am so thankful to still be here. I was checking my I was texting a girlfriend and I had seen some of our text messages before my heart surgery, and it was right before my infectious disease appointment. And she said, thinking of you. I hope they figure out what's wrong. I hope everything goes well. I hope you finally get some answers. And I said, thank you so much. I feel like my body is dying. And it really was. I don't know how much longer I would have had if we hadn't found this. I think I probably would have just dropped dead of a heart attack or had a massive stroke. And that's what would have thrown me into the hospital, and that's how they would have caught it. But up till then, I was doing everything I knew how to do and asking the doctors for help. I just didn't know I needed blood cultures. And I don't know why they didn't know or didn't think of it, but I just continued to get progressively sicker and sicker. And so I'm so thankful to still be here because I just don't know what would have happened if we hadn't caught it. I went to infectious disease and I'm on state insurance now. Praise the Lord, because this is probably like a 6-figure surgery, I would imagine. And I didn't have insurance. And that was a whole God thing in and of itself. I got on insurance. They backdated it for like the month before so they could even cover my emergency room. But before this, I had gone to infectious disease and the receptionist was checking me in, and it didn't list that I had insurance at the time because I didn't. And she was like, it's saying you need to pay $700. And I was thinking, if I have to pay that, I'm going to have to walk. I can't afford that. And I can't put $700 on a credit card. And so I was like, okay. And she was like, let me do some digging. And she just kind of poked around and was clicking on her keyboard. And she said, you know what? Can you do 200? 200 is our normal amount. I'm just going to charge you for that. And then we'll worry about everything else later. And I was like, I can do 200. And even that, I just remember thinking, I'm going to have to leave. I can't do this appointment then. And they're probably not going to find anything. So what's even the point? But that even scares me to think about what would have happened if I had walked. They would have never found this. So anyways, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been praying for me, and all your contributions and all your help and all your words of encouragement and all of that, the sweet cards I've gotten in the mail. I'm so thankful to still be here. I'm going to continue podcasting as I have energy and as I can. And I'm just very thankful. And so that is what I've been up to these past 2.5 months. And then these next 3 months, I'll just be sleeping and resting. I'll do cardiac rehab soon. I've got antibiotics through, August. I've got them in my PICC line, and my boyfriend comes every day and does those for me. And so, my mom just came and did the laundry for me. So I'm so well taken care of. I'm so blessed by everyone in my life. And I just wanted to give you guys that update if you hadn't known. But I think it's like my mom and my sister and girlfriend and boyfriend, not husband, jumping the gun there, that are following me. So you all already know what's been going on. But for any random that's new, this is what has been pulling me away from the podcast was open heart surgery. Who would have thought? Open heart surgery. But I'm so thankful. So anyways, I'll jump back into this and get podcasting soon here. But I just wanted to say thanks to all of you that have been praying. I love you guys. I hope you have a fantastic day. If you find yourself feeling sick as a dog, and you go to the doctor and they're just like, we don't know what's wrong with you. Ask for blood. Just ask them to do some blood cultures. That will forever now be my new mantra. Please do a blood culture for me. Can you please do a blood culture for me? This valve is something that will need to be replaced. And so this is a lifelong condition now that I have. And so ask for the blood cultures. I hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys, and I'll talk to you later.